So there's the question of how does AI support these platform-based business models, and it's really essential for modern platform-based businesses to succeed. I'll say a little bit about why in this section. So we have massive amounts of data typically in these platforms. They're almost always online businesses in some way or another. Data coming from either one side or the other, from the business, the consumer, et cetera. So we typically are going to need machine learning to analyze that data, figure out what's going on in our business, pair customers with products and services that they might want, a very simple level. What type of housing are you going to want to be shown on the Airbnb application, or what's the best driver to pick you up in Uber? All of that is determined by machine learning. We can personalize our customer offerings. We don't have to show every customer the same thing. We can know something from their past behaviors and use that to tailor what they see on our site. And if we have millions of customers, you're not going to be able to call a typical platform company and find a helpful customer service agent to talk to you. Because they have millions of customers and not a lot of assets, they're going to try to turn that over to things like intelligent agents and chatbots and so on. So AI comes into play there. We can predict resource requirements, how many particular dwellings is Airbnb going to need when they enter a new marketplace, or how many drivers does it make sense to try to recruit in Uber or Lyft. That's all done with AI models as well. And just to kind of illustrate this, all of the most valuable platform companies, from Apple, Alphabet, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, et cetera, all have machine learning at the core of at least the platform components of their businesses. This is impossible to do it without that capability. So just some quick examples. AI widely used at Google/Alphabet, the corporate name under which Google falls. Originally used at Google for PageRank algorithms, which was kind of the core of their early business, and then advertising algorithms to show what ads to show for what types of searches. They began to research AI in depth in their Google X research labs in 2011, and that's when they started to pursue this deep learning technology. They hired Geoffrey Hinton, a Canadian university-based researcher who had solved some critical problems in deep learning, so he became a Google employee. They needed some more capabilities, so they bought DeepMind, a London-based company for deep learning expertise, in 2014, and they used a lot of that capability to beat some of the world's best Go players with the AlphaGo application. By 2016, AI was so pervasive that over 2,700 projects across Alphabet were using machine learning in a substantial way. And, it's not just the traditional Google-based business, but they have a self-driving car business unit called Waymo, and of course, deep learning is heavily used there. They have a medical diagnosis business called Calico, and making sense of your genome and your proteome and so on, pretty much impossible without machine learning. They even give away a prominent machine learning tool. TensorFlow is a popular open source project used for machine learning and particularly for deep learning applications. Facebook was another early adopter of these technologies. Again, it has way too much data to do otherwise, but Facebook has been, I think, somewhat less successful with AI than Google, in part because they really tried to do too much with it. So their primary AI research focus has again been on deep learning, with a strong focus on facial recognition, image recognition. It's used for captioning photos that you might post on Facebook, or identifying who some of the people might be in those images. Also used for advertising, of course, which is a key part of their business model. Facebook has been very interested in identifying speech or images that are not appropriate for being posted on the site. And so they've tried to use AI quite aggressively for that purpose, although, as you may know, they have not been entirely successful. A lot of stuff has gotten through. They've said that they're hiring 10,000 humans to do this kind of analysis just because AI can't quite do it yet. AI was also used for a while to identify important news items that it would kind of personalize and send out on the trending topics section of Facebook, but it turns out it couldn't identify real news from fake news. AI is also used for ad targeting, but some ads have snuck through that were targeting racists, and Facebook got a lot of negative publicity for that. You may be quite aware of the fact it couldn't detect fake news probably emanating from Russia, maybe from some other places as well. And as I suggested, I think this is primarily an issue of trying to do more with AI than was really possible at the time. Maybe at some point it will be able to identify fake news and pornographic images accurately and so on, but it's been a problem for Facebook. Amazon's quite aggressive with AI, and they have tried some projects that might be called moonshots. Amazon Go, the convenience store, now only one of them in their Seattle headquarters, where you can go in and pick stuff off the shelf and feel like you're not paying for it until you leave the store. And of course, you get billed on your smartphone for it. They say they are working on automated drone deliveries. That's not available yet. Amazon Go had some problems. Drone deliveries are, of course, not available yet. So this is quite challenging, even for a highly capable organization like Amazon. But Jeff Bezos wrote in their 2017 report to shareholders that they do a lot of machine learning, and the primary usage of it is what he called quietly but meaningfully improving core operations, doing things like better demand forecasting or ranking products in search, or product and deal recommendations, merchandising decisions, detecting fraud, and of course, deep learning, getting increasingly good at machine translation. So even at Amazon, one of the world's most sophisticated platform companies, there is this focus on picking the low-hanging fruit and over time making for a very successful company.